Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to second. Any discussion or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good evening. Just real quick, my name is Jim Ingram. I'm the junior commander for VFW Post 5443 here in Kenton, Missouri. And I'm here tonight to honor everybody here just about. But last month, we had the deployment ceremony for our hometown National Guard unit, the 1137th MP Company, heading for a tour in Cuba. We had a sign in front of the American Legion building that stated, if I can recall that sign, it stated, "Stand behind our troops or get in front of them." Even though the AC units were without the high school gym, the families and citizens of Kennett stood behind our troops. And today, we stand tall. And especially in today's time, we need to support our troops, the men and women in uniform, the law enforcement, the firemen, medical, first responders, emergency personnel, etc. And it all starts with leadership. The leadership in this room, the leadership of our community. Now, I would like to recognize our leadership today. The leadership of Kennett, the mayor of Kennett. If I get the mayor down here, the mayor in the military way is front and center. If I get you down here front and center. From the Kennett VFW Post 5443, the VFW Plaque of Honor. This plaque states, VFW Plaque of Honor. This is a plaque to presented to honor Mayor Bob Hancock in recognition and grateful appreciation for serving the United States Armed Forces in the name of freedom and democracy, and for the allegiance of God and country, and in courtesy protecting our liberty and independence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your prayers.
Thank you, sir.
Bob, wait for, okay,
Thank you very much.
Roger.
Unless you just want to stand here, you're not on my list.
I'm not on your list.
No.
I didn't know that either. Sorry. What?
We just had spread out the responsibility, and Mr. Ingram elected to take the greatest responsibility. Now, at that ceremony out there at the school, the fire department, and they're always doing good things, but they brought the ladder truck out there with that huge American flag suspended over the area, and just lots and lots of people commented they were really touched by the fact that our troops got to pass under that flag. And I mean, I've seen them, they take it to funerals and different special events and whatever. But, anyway, so the American Legion wanted to acknowledge those people in the fire department that went involved with that. So, but I'm gonna ask for moral support. I want the veterans that are members of the American Legion to come up there and stand with me. And I would ask any other veteran to stand and be at attention. The first one, Chief John Malott. This commendation is awarded for outstanding public service to American soldiers benefiting our community, state, and nation. Thank you. Bill Monroe. Yours says the same thing, but I'm gonna read it anyway. This commendation is awarded for outstanding public service to American soldiers benefiting our community, state, and nation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Butler? Likewise, same thing. This commendation is awarded for outstanding public service to American soldiers benefiting our community, state, and nation. Thank you, sir. I have one other one for Lance Davis, and I'm gonna try to persuade Chief Malott to present that to him in an appropriate manner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the council, mayor, the citizens for allowing me a few minutes of your time to speak. We were fortunate enough last month in July to send officers to the LETSAC conference, which is the Law Enforcement Training Safety Advisory Council. They're sponsored by the MoDOT, Traffic and Highway Safety Division, which oversees the grants for safety on Missouri roads. The DWI grants, speed enforcement, seat belt and youth seat belt enforcement programs several times during the year is paid for with their funds. The conference included new laws, safety information for both the public and officers. One very important topic that was discussed was the seatbelt usage in Missouri, which is below the national average. This affects our grant money plus the safety of our citizens. Both the public and officers make excuses not to wear the seatbelts, such as it would take too long to get out in an emergency type situation. The failure to use the seatbelt is a leading factor in auto accident deaths. That's where the LETSAC Advisory Board come up with a great seatbelt challenge. It's a timed exercise to show that how long it takes to stop, put your car in park, unbuckle, get out, run about 50 feet, and place a bottle into a box. This challenge was accepted by several departments throughout the state of Missouri, all the way from one-man departments up to the largest departments in the state. Kennett was lucky enough to have 3 officers step up and accept this challenge. One of them was Captain Joe Stewart, Patrolman Taylor Tinsley, and Patrolman James Landon Stewart. Captain Stewart and Patrolman Tinsley was eliminated from the top 3 positions by just a second or two. However, Patrolman Landon Stewart managed to capture the 2nd place position out of everybody that entered. He's also competing against Kansas City, St. Louis, the Highway Patrol. They all had people entered in this. At this time, on the behalf of the citizens of Kennett, the mayor and the city council, I would like to present this plaque to Patrolman James Landon Stewart in an appreciation of an outstanding job.
You got a smile too.
Good job. Thank you, sir.
Also,
Because it's saying it's on.
the chief dentist has designed our vehicle stripe package on our vehicles a couple of years ago. He's continued to add small details to it. And a couple of these points that I'm very proud of is the thin blue line that he placed on the back of the patrol cars and also on the back the cars that we put in God we trust. Both of those is very important to me. We entered a 2017 Ford Explorer in the Best of Show car contest. There were several vehicles entered, and the judging was by the officers present, along with the citizens that was there. I'm honored to announce that the City of Kennett vehicle was awarded first place. Chief Dennis accepted a trophy for this honor, and that goes to show that our small department was represented the City of Kennett and our department honorably. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Get into committee reports, fire committee. Next time, police committee,
Nothing for the public at this time.
street committee,
We're kind of in the middle of the season, and we're working, also, starting to organize a little bit with the stormwater management stuff. And we'll be prepared to hear more about that in the future. We've got a lot of work to do on that.
thank you for a lot of good work. It's really showing up. We got several streets that have been repaired, replaced, all the sidewalks, and certainly enhancing the appearance of the city. Good job. Finance, Steve's not here tonight. We've got the numbers for the second month came in. They're just about mirror of last year for the first couple of months. Nothing too dramatic. Continue to watch that closely as we get through the 90 days. We said we want to take a look at before we revisit this. Chamber's not represented. Human resource.
Human work. We did have a meeting, I believe the week before last, to talk about pay scales, and we will be having another meeting coming up soon to get something finalized for that.
Walkmore report, street.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank all of you and all the citizens of Kennett for the passage of the stormwater tax. I think it's going to take several years, but I think we'll see some improvements in Kennett through the leadership of the new councils and stormwater committee, and probably out of the street department for the infrastructure. So I think that's a good positive thing for the city of Kennett. We finished our cleanup work, if you will, along Washington and Kennett Street. I mean, the major work was done. We still got two places we got backfill after these big rains helped settle the stuff in, but you know, basically we're done with those two. Don't have an exact date, but ASA Asphalt will be coming back to do our street overlays later. We know when the Delta Fair is going to be, and we're doing our very best to get all that work done and be out of the way before the fair hits. One of the streets we're going to hit is Airport Road and East 5th, which go around the back of the fairground. So we certainly want to try to get that done beforehand if possible. We made a lot of salutes are being passed out, so I'm going to join in on the crowd. Did some work out at Industrial Drive, right in front of the ARI South plant, right in front of their major driveway where they receive all their steel. We were short a couple weeks ago, people for various reasons, but one day I had 4 people, workers out there, and we poured 30 yards of concrete in that rapid set that in 20, 25 minutes after it hits the ground, you can't do anything to it. And 4 of them put that down on one of the days when it was 92 degrees. So, your employees do work hard out there when it's that way. Tomorrow, Chief Malott and I are going to go to Dexter to a community development block grant workshop. We'll hear about what the state has. Last fall, Jim Greeting and I went to Cape for 2 days of the same thing, where we really went in depth on that. There's been a change in leadership, of course, in Jefferson City since last fall, so we look forward to meeting some of the new people. I feel like the grants are basically the same that we saw then, but look forward to getting to meet the new people who are leading the departments up there now. So we'll be bringing some information back to you on that. Just what they seen our fair tomorrow. Any questions? Thank you all for your report.
I'm pleased to see the fast work in front of the post office on Main Street. It looks really nice, the part that's finished already.
That'll be opened up Monday.
It's been a long time coming, so it looks so nice.
Randy, any more word on the striping at Walmart?
You haven't been out there, Mr. Berry. It was done over the weekend.
Oh, it was? I don't guess I've been out there. Okay, well, good. Good.
South of Highway 412, 84 through town.
Okay, good, thank you.
I've got I handed you the report for July, product report. Total 89 calls in city, and it was like 7 that was outside the city during that time period of July. It doesn't really break down into fireworks and things like that, yet with individual reports. There were 6 structural fire calls during that time period within the city. Not all of them. I know that at least one of them was fireworks related. It was not a residential, it was a storage building that was our garage out in the Hickoryville, or the Right Acres area. If there's any questions on that, look it over. I'll give a little bit more. I've directed the code office to start developing the next round of derelict buildings for demolition so that we can set up a meeting with the fire committee. And the reason we've got an ongoing list, I've looked at, it's not a set list because things develop just like the house on Everett Street that burned. You have just a foundation left standing that it needs to be finished off, being removed. We've had another building across the street here to develop, the roof falling in. So we need to go back and reprioritize those meetings. I want to try to get the 2 buildings as you come into Kennett on the north side of the road there that are all derelict, so it can clean that as people enter before they get to the main part of the city. There's not 2 derelict buildings sitting there half falling in. So we'll be starting to develop the next round and get with the fire committee to see what we can do, how many we might be able to do, and to get bids on. On animal control, we've done a little bit of work down there with the heat of the summer. I've used a service worker to help shovel some of the dirt back up in the wash down there. We still, if you had to get the Constantine wire down, and I had a person running with it, so I know how dangerous it can be. And I don't really want to use a service worker in taking it down because they don't have proper equipment and stuff. So as soon as our vacation in the fire department slows down, I've got one with the floaters that release on vacations and stuff. He and I is going to go down there with our gloves and stuff where we'd be a little more protected to get that wire down, and then we will replace it with some barbed wire. So that's all the goal is, to try and get that accomplished. Our insurance company wants us to do. We haven't had a whole lot of service workers, and I guess a lot of that's due to the heat. So
We'll get you some more.
as long as they come in, we got And I've had to change up some things, so the guys sometimes don't see things that I see, and it's like, no, I gotta go over here and get this area. But I will say that that area out on the east side stays a lot cleaner with
Yes.
along that airport fence and what is collected between the Walmart and the plaza there. There's a fence that Walmart put up to try and keep some of that trash contained. So that's, when they're out there, that's what we try to concentrate on, make them walk around the complex, down Independence and back around where some of the fast food and some of the stores, bags and stuff, people are depositing, so we're trying to keep that. We'll say on the heels of the presentation on the ladder truck, this was an endeavor that a number of years ago we seen other parks throughout the state had, were doing this, and we purchased the flag, and it's never too hard to get somebody to volunteer for the detail of setting it up. We used it twice in the past several weeks. In fact, Monday we assisted the Clarkton Fire Department. They had a passing of a firefighter, and he was out in the cemetery with it. And we try to reserve it for those special occasions. We used it several times before, from 11:37 when they left. We were invited over to Portageville a number of years ago. There was a military officer that was died in line of duty over in Iraq, and she was from Portageville, and we went over there and done that. So it's well received in the area, and we're proud to do it, represent the city well and the fire department. So it's just one of the little things that we feel is we're honored to do for those who, whether it's the military or whether it's firefighters, and we've done it for several of the passing police officers that serve the city. So we're proud to do it for those individuals that have served their community, state, or country, and we'll continue to do it as long as we are able to. So, any other questions on any of the report or anything? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
The update on the car that burnt a couple weeks ago, the insurance adjuster has been here, he's looked at it, because it's a total loss. We're doing figures on it now. Before I close it out, we have about $11,000 of equipment. We're still testing that to make sure it is operational. If not, they'll be including the figure, the final figure. So hopefully through this week, we'll definitely know something. In your packets, I put in for May and June, the statistics from the police department for that month. And like I said, you can break it down, it's broke down in a lot of areas. You look at that because it's a monthly thing. What might be stolen this month can be recovered next month, 2 months from now. So figures sometimes are adjusted out, or may not look like something's done this month, but it picks up next. We had over 5,000 calls of service. That's a lot. And maybe right at 262 arrests. The police department, I'm very proud. It was a nice presentation, and like I said, the Let's Sack Conference is one of the biggest conferences in the state, and it is it's a conference that is very educational, and I wish I could get more. We just have to send so many a year, and it's represented throughout the state, and Kennett is well represented by MoDOT and the Safety Commission. They're well familiar with Kennett, and like I said, we get several thousands of dollars off 3 or 4 different grants, and they're very good to us for that. But I do appreciate all of our officers. They do a great, outstanding job, and I'm very proud of which I realize, and I hope that all of y'all are proud of them also. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You know, on August the 3rd, we had a community meeting. In fact, the citizens that came out and participated in that meeting, there were several issues brought forth, to be looked at, addressed, one being occupancy permit. Diane's done some research on that. I think in your package you have a sample from Malden. This is a topic to be discussed. It can get quite controversial. Most of the people that were at the meeting were supportive, but those that didn't show up didn't know it was going to be on the agenda, so I'm sure they didn't bother to come out. Once it's on the agenda, we'll probably hear from the other side and speak to the public. Stormwater and the senior tax that passed. Thank you, citizens, very much for going out and voting on it. Also, the use tax. Always a little bit apprehensive when you put 3 tax issues on one ballot in Kennett and Duncan County. They all passed for a good margin. The use tax had the most narrow margin, but I would attribute that to not understanding it. Fortunately, it did pass, and we're now in position to start reaping some of the revenue from people like Amazon and so forth that are paying sales tax into the state. Another issue that came up, somewhat of a change from what we had a couple, 3 years ago, was city administrator in our form of government. A couple years ago, they were touting city manager. This is something that will be discussed at length, investigated. Funny how time doesn't always change things. A couple years ago, there was 2 major issues to having a city manager. The first being able to afford it. It's a great concept. These people don't come cheap. Second issue we have, being a small community, is retention. We'll hire somebody, pay them a lot of bucks, they come in, stay a year or 2, get it on their resume, and they're gone. Every time that happens, you get to start with a new program. There's no set program for a city administrator. Each one of them has his own program that he would put in. So, the administrator is a little bit different than the manager as far as the reporting, the requirements of putting it in. We tried it a few years back. I was not involved in city government at that time, but I think it was a resounding flop. It didn't fly. But as I said, this will be discussed, investigated, and brought up at a future time. Again, I can't thank the public enough for getting out. Stormwater, as you know, is mandated. The committee will be pulling together and working up a game plan. The tax money will not start coming in until the 1st of January. So we've got some time to get together our plan of action and what we will be doing with it. Some things are obvious, like 3rd Street. These are going to have to be taken care of. It's going to be a kind of new adventure for us, and will be very required. With that, I'd like you to come up and tell us how many mosquitoes you killed.
No, I don't have a report. I have three sheets of paper. The computer locked up on the wife while she was doing the report. We don't have a report. I'll get that to y'all in the next few days. Airplane's gonna fly again tonight. And same old, same old. How about some questions?
It's getting ready to be wedding season over in Gargis Edition.
Is that right?
I do believe so.
Oh, yeah? Okay. All right.
Have you got a date for your first wedding?
Well, it's booking up fast.
I got you.
Just giving you a heads up.
Not a problem.
There have been a few more mosquitoes out than I've seen earlier.
Yeah, so we're gonna fly the airplane tonight and everything, and hopefully we can knock them back a little better. This moisture situation, it brings them out of all the crooks and crannies, and they'll be out, you know, in abundance. Of course, it does give us an opportunity. We got more mosquitoes that time because they're all out and about. They come out of ranges and weeds and all, but we're able to kill more because of that too. So anyway, so it's a perfect scenario for tonight.
Also more rain.
Yeah, so that's true too, but we're larvicide and daily, so we'll be, a day or so, a couple of days afterwards, we're pretty well larvicide every day over here, except for when it rains, it's gonna be, good right then. But after the fact, you stay on top of it and you're things to. So. Any other questions?
I'd like to thank you for the work over on Preston.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I've had a couple of people comment on that and say it did make a big difference.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
I've also called something like Kings Highway, I think Friday or something, they're cooking Boston butts. I think I gotta take care of that.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, but, that's what we're here for, is to try to, give people relief. Sometimes it's a battle. I mean, I can't get rid of all of them, but we just have to keep fighting. We can reduce them, of course, have a better way of living, and that's possible. Is that all the questions? I'm trying to make it easy tonight. I'm not showing up with any more reports. Anyway, all right, Tim. Well, thank y'all very much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Moving to new business,
Mr. Mayor.
How we do. This conflicts of interest ordinance, first reading as an ordinance of the city of Kennett, Missouri, to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials. This is an ordinance that we pass every year, and by passing the ordinance, it keeps all of you from having to file detailed financial reports with the Secretary of State.
Motion.
Second.
Yes.
motion,
That's it.
all fair and aye.
An ordinance of the city of Kennett, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Motion.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. In the package, you have the city's account payable. Need a motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We also have city light, gas, and water accounts payable list.
Motion.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. This time, the public like to address the council.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, I need to back up on you mentioned stormwater report and it just lost thought on it. Victor Mode received a letter today from DNR where they accepted the most recent reports on the stormwater plan, so we're caught up. I know that Assistant Chief Horton happened to be in a meeting where the supervisor over there at the DNR office was there, and they know each other, so they was kind of talking. Jackson Bostic, you've met him before. It wouldn't hurt for the city to maybe send a letter over to the DNR office advising them that we did pass this tax to help assist us in the future with the stormwater management plan. That may, he kind of hinted to him that if they got something official on that, that might help them realize that,
Randy's got a
Okay.
letter outside.
so anyway, just to report on, we did get a good letter back from them, so we're caught up to this day.
Good, appreciate that. We do have a letter drafted to,
Okay, well, I think that will serve us well. Thank you.
Let Victor know that he can't get away completely from the
Oh, he's,
stormwater stuff. We got needed services for a while yet.
he's an employee, he told me to do
Whole business.
the rest of it.
Can I?
Bill's
Yes.
got some.
Are we still looking at the meeting on the 17th for the code enforcement? Okay. All right. And,
send out official notice.
I did. Yeah, I've already sent it out.
okay.
Last week, the week before, last week, we did.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Bishop.
you ask for public participation?
Yes, sir.
Boy.
You're the public.
Ordinarily, for short discussions, I don't need water, but I'm choking a little bit, so I thought I'd better drink some water.
Fidget spinner.
Girls and boys, and Mr. Mayor, and guests, and our flasher. I've been asked to not complain about this issue by Mr. Wheeler and Mr. Mitchell. So I'm not complaining. I'm just not bitching about it. I'm just trying to learn the ways of government. During a meeting last, whenever it was, to discuss the old folks tax, I asked what the age for the old folks was going to be and what the address for these people to use the Kennett facilities for old folks would be, and how the money from the tax was going to be administered. And Mr. McVeigh said that that would be determined after the election. Sort of like they do it in the National Congress. They were going to tell us later on how we were going to do all those things. Or something like that. And August the 3rd, which I wasn't in a real good mood anyway, I returned to read. No, I didn't return on August 3rd. I read on August. I read the August 3rd Daily Duncan article, which I thought I may learn something by discussing with you all. This was the August 1st meeting, as reported in the August 3rd Daily Duncan. I'm not sure who wrote the article. The part I'm interested in is every other items on the agenda for the council to discuss included either accepting or declining the sealed bids for the city's waste management, which is to include all city buildings as well as compost. After a review of the 3 bids, the council opted to go with Republic Waste of Dexter, with their bids being significantly lower. May I have privy to the reading of the minutes from that meeting and see what how much difference there was in money on August 1st
It was
meeting?
$120 a month.
20%, about 20% here.
Yes.
And I agree with you.
Sounds about
How much was it? How much was the significant difference?
I believe it was a little over 20% difference.
Meaning how many dollars?
$1,400.
Between $1,400, $2,000 for the year.
$100 a month is significant?
It'll be more than
Well, it's
100.
20%.
Okay, 20% may be a lot. Anyway, I just wondered what's significantly lower than Friendly Waste and Forest Containers gave.
I think what you'll find is that the council wanted to go another route, but
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Hold on, Mr. Palmer, please. I appreciate your input. The next sentence says, this is reading from the Daily Duncan, I was not here and have not read the minutes. All of the councilmen and women, all were wanting to go stay local, but the city's bid policy took precedent.
And all agreed to abide by the law and policy of accepting the lowest and best bid. Would anyone like that reread?
No.
No, because I had the same question. We have to change that.
I have in my possession an ordinance, number 2435. An ordinance adopting a procurement procedure for the city of Kennet. Be it ordained by the city council of the city of Kennet as follows. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Read 2 times, passed, approved, and adopted this 20th day of June 1995. Now, according to Mr. McVeigh's description, that would be plenty time after an ordinance was passed to really determine what it needs, what it means. So it's not a question that we're still working on what it means. I don't think. I have in that ordinance section 140.110 titled Competitive Bidding. All items costing more than $500 to be purchased shall be subject to competitive bidding, except as were herein contained or as otherwise provided. Items so on exempt from bidding: purchases made, services, purchases, contracts, magazines. Purchases of $500. And so, statement 5 of that ordinance says, competitive bids can be waived in the event the city council deems it unnecessary that bids be solicited. Then the aforestated requirement may be waived by a motion made and duly approved and recorded in the minutes of the council meeting. I suppose that wasn't considered or done, so we didn't do that. Okay, so then we have emergency purchases, bid surety required, opening of bids, rejections of bids, and awarding of bids. Number 10. The city council will make the award to the best bid. Now, in the write-up from the city paper, it says that this was the lowest and best bid. In determining the best bid, the council shall consider other factors besides price. The council shall, not may, shall consider other factors. These factors shall include, but not be limited to, the trade-in value, the life expectancy, the maintenance cost, the experience and reputation of the bidder, and any previous business dealings which the bidder has had with the city. The city council shall make the award to the best bid. In determining the best bid, the council shall consider other factors besides price. And I suppose these other factors were considered, and although all the people here wanted to stay local, we let $100 a month take the business from Kennet to a neighboring city business, which they only employ 12 to 15 to 18 people, which isn't many. I don't know what we would do for a factory who wanted to come in and buy 2,000 gallons of diesel a month
and not ask the city for any abatements or help, and employ 15, 18 people, and rent property, and pay taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just trying to understand what the best bid on the ordinance would pertain to if it didn't pertain to price. Seems like the $100 a month may have been the deciding factor in the whole matter.
Mr. Mitchell?
Thank you very much.
It wasn't, I can speak for myself, it wasn't for me.
All the paper said, what did the minutes say, how did the vote go?
Yeah, we all had to, because what we were told, we had to accept the lowest and the best. And I even said the best, I said, there's the best, and I said that, and you can watch it on YouTube. But we were told that we had to accept the lowest and the best.
No, nobody said you had to.
Yeah.
I said it was a recommendation.
No, we
No.
have to go
No,
with,
it
you
was-
can
it was
say
a
no, but
recommendation.
you have to go with the lowest.
No, Mr. McVeigh said it was a
But-
recommendation that we're opening ourselves up for a
Republic
lawsuit if we
was
accept a
the
bid that's more
only
than 20%.
company that gave a bid that we requested. Friendly was not able to handle the larger containers for out at compost. They were gonna partner with Marco Park. But in doing that, that is what made their bid higher. So they were the only ones that fulfilled the bid request.
So there you go. We have different stories and different concepts of what was said. Don't know what the minutes indicate.
I'll go get the minutes.
It's not
I've got it.
necessary.
But, I mean, that
It
was
isn't
the
necessary,
deal.
I'm just
I might
expressing.
quote this, after advice from Councilman McVeigh, we reminded the council they were to take the lowest and best bid received, and the fact that Republic is the only company that actually returned the bid as requested in the ad. I don't think it was, I read that, I don't remember what was reported in the paper, but this is quoting from the minutes.
So no place did the paper report say that the bids were improperly given.
About that.
So you stand by the vote, which is too late to do anything anyway, so we're satisfied with the vote. And that answers my question.
It's a one-year contract.
And they start immediately. Not a month's notice or a week's notice. You don't even throw anybody out of the house less than 30-day notice or 60-day notice. You don't even cut off their electric rate. How much time do we give anybody cutting off the electric rate?
Never had my electric cut off, I don't know.
You should know that as a city councilman.
It's about 2 months.
Doesn't it take time of the year too?
Yeah, time of
So
year.
it'll be given.
Appreciate your time. Like I said, I'm not bitching and griping, I'm just trying to learn something. And thank you for your time. Thanks for not drinking my water too.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sure. I'll get the formalities over with. I'm Dr. Chancellor Lane.
Thank you.
I've got a couple different little reports. One, I went and had my meeting with the director, Marcy, and I can't remember her last name, I left her card. Jonathan, I got back late and I grabbed my book and it's not here. And the assistant director, 2 weeks ago, whenever I went to Jefferson City for the CDBG grant meeting. I was just there for, Wednesday was how to do it. Thursday, whenever I got there, was, the closing of a grant, and then fair housing, equal housing. They also had talked a lot about whenever you're looking for grants, that if one of your contractor is headed by a woman, that gets extra points. If it's headed by a minority, that's extra points. So all those different aspects, play a role. And then one of the slides I put up there, and I had looked right before trying to get up here, but it's a pretty thick book. The different things that, you know, a city can apply for the grants. Firehouse, stormwater damage. Dilapidated houses. That was one of the things they brought up, $125,000 a year to tear down old houses. And I mean, during the different talks and everything, I mean, they threw out a ton of different information and a lot of information that was given to it. And I think I understand that Drew and Jim have a meeting tomorrow with them at Nexter.
No,
But-
Randy and John are going.
Okay, I talked to Deb McCain this afternoon, trying to get, you know, a little bit more information to see if I can get some more copies, and she said that, you know, you were down and Jim were down for the meeting.
I didn't know I was down.
And she had Diane Reisner, and she said Jim, and I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm going to say, it was,
Well, I'll go if I need to.
okay, but it was.
You guys.
That that it was deemed like a city clerk, CDBG meeting. But there was several, she's got 44 people registered for it out of the 6 counties. And, one of the things that, Miss Marcy, when she got out there and talked, and said it hasn't been a firm rule in the past, but it's going to be a firm rule for the future, especially for the next time period, which will be, next, April 1st. That you guys will need these. All paperwork has to be in blue ink. It won't be accepted otherwise. So there's your blue ink pen. But since you and Jim aren't going, if you two want 2 of them, there you go. But yeah, and that was one of the things they stressed over and over and over again. When you fill out the forms, you know, it's got to be in blue ink from this point on. Anything original, they want the mayor's signature in blue ink, all the different forms, blue ink, and it's like, most of us have black and white printers for a PDF format, because a lot of this stuff is now online. And it's like, okay, you're gonna have to buy a color printer to print off your application in blue ink. So, but, you know, that was one of the aspects. And then, so you guys should be getting a copy of this here. I'd really like to keep this, because I don't think it's gonna be my last, you know, go around on this aspect. At least I hope not. But, and then also, she's sent in a request to hopefully be able to try and get it, Mr. McKinnon asked, can we get it on a thumb drive? So I've sent that email off to see if you can receive it in an email, and that way it can go to any department head, anybody on the city council, any city department that wants to try and apply through either the Boot Hill Regional Center, is where I was talking with Deb at today, Ms. McCain, or you can go through a private entity, but they really like you to go through them. And I can understand since they're our region. But they really, you know, they did a lot of talking about, you know, making sure that the stormwater grants, I mean, there's just a ton of information that they're going through the list of things that Kennett has done, wants to do, or is doing that, you know, as she's rattling off numbers, I mean, these aren't, you know, $10,000 and $20,000 numbers. These are $100,000 numbers. So there's always one way to guarantee that we won't get any of the free money, and that's not apply. But somebody's gonna get it. Our tax dollars, every time we buy something at Walmart, Amazon, anyplace else, pay our income tax, whatever, that money goes to the federal government, and then it gets dispersed. So, you know, it's, that should be a yearly event, is applying for this, and they've got the meeting tomorrow up at Dexter. They held one last year, and they've already got it in the works for next year. So the more people that learn how to write the grants and are able to, then also talk with her. The easy question of, okay, besides CDBG grants, what else is out there? And she rattled off an alphabet. I mean, just a huge amount of stuff that you can, you know, again, it's one of those aspects that if you don't apply for it, you're never going to get it. And I know, like the Sea Light Gas and Water is going to be working on a lagoon. I think that's one of the water projects out there. And she goes, there's tons of money out there. So, but, you know, it comes with strings. But when somebody gives you $500,000 or $1 million, you know, there's gonna be strings, they're just not gonna give it to you. But again, you're guaranteed not to get it if you don't apply for it. So if you can relieve some of the tax burden off of the citizens, I mean, that makes things pretty nice. And so we will work on trying to get you guys, a digital copy. Like I said, I would like to get this one, but you'll be getting at least 2 copies tomorrow.
Most of the meetings that we attend, after the meeting, they're available on their website.
Okay.
So you can at least print it off. I don't know about getting a thumb drive.
Now,
Yeah.
we also are members and pay annually the Boot Hill
Under
Regional.
$3,000.
Yes, to keep us informed of grants and things like this that are available, and that was something that we strongly considered not continuing due to our financial situation, we chose to continue, so they're obligated to let us know when some of these things come up.
Yeah, and they were talking about they had not received back basically a city survey that they sent out. And if they could, she turned it a certain, there was code to it, but it was sort of along the lines of an LMI, the low to moderate income. And it was a survey about the citizens of Kennett. And so she said that they had not received that yet. And that right there allows them to, okay, you qualify in this category, which, for Kennett, even though we're 10,000 people plus, we do hit the 51% for low to moderate income. So that opens us up to a ton of grants. That it doesn't go by the number of people, so we are on the same level playing field as Hardin, as Warnersville, as Malden, because we are at the 51 LMI rating and above. And so that was, one good takeaway. But I did get to meet with Miss Marcy and Miss Denise, and met with them separately in between the breaks. And they, just asked about, what all the grant was going to be doing, what would improvements that, we're going to be seeing. Let's talk about, you're going to have you'll have a safe sidewalk to go from the corner of Ely and Independence all the way to Country Mart. So, and then you're gonna have, drainage, keeping stormwater away from properties, and you're gonna have, the guttering that's gonna go out to all the stormwater drains. So, I made sure that, this is what it's gonna be a huge asset that, people in wheelchairs, motorized scooters, things like that, are not gonna be riding those things in the middle of, St. Francis Street, or it's actually turned highway. And so, but it was, good and productive, and nice to, be able to go and see. And, but they said just as soon as the federal releases the money, then the next day, whenever it's in their account, then the next day they will send out, happy or sad letters. And so it's, I'm being optimistic here, thinking, they asked us to come, so I went. So hopefully we are on the very short list for a happy letter. And so that'll be, she just said they don't have a specific date for it, but it's usually sometime within the next 2 to 3 weeks. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, sir.
We need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excuse me.
Yes.
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 Aye.
Yes.